Let me hear it for the good troublemakers. Y'all not loud enough. Let me hear it for the good troublemakers. All right. I'm here representing the United Methodist Church in particular, but I'm representing the Christian faith in general. And also I'm representing all people of faith and folks of no faith who are folks who love justice and righteousness. I stand together with my fellow Christians, my fellow people of the Jewish faith and the Islamic faith and the Hindu faith and the Baha'i faith and other faiths and all those who love justice and righteousness and fairness and equality. I stand here on this day to affirm the right to vote for all citizens as a basic human right. We want to hold governments rightfully responsible for the protection of the rights of the people for free and fair elections. We declare that both the form and the leaders of all governments should be determined by the exercise of the right to vote guaranteed for every single citizen in this nation. I stand here on this day appalled and outraged because of the discriminatory practices against underrepresented communities. I also further assert that the right of historically underrepresented racial and ethnic persons we ought to be standing up for them on this day. You think about folks like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., you think about Representative John Lewis, those who in the past spoke so eloquently and passionately, those who espouse what we are espousing here today. I want you to know that even when those who have gone on to glory, who stood up for what is right and just, they pass it on to our generation to stand up for what is right and just. How many folk here today are here to declare that they will never back down, that they will never give in, and they will never give up? We are calling for a vision of a beloved community founded on economic and racial justice. We're calling for a vision that includes reinstating and strengthening voting rights protection in light of this continued systemic racism that threatens and undermines the provisions for fair and free elections for all citizens. I want you to know, my sisters and brothers, that our whole society will falter if we continue to allow repressive and oppressive-minded politicians to use people as political pawns by playing on the fear of underrepresented communities. There are many in the halls of Congress this day who are pushing for oppression and repression. They would love to see us roll back the clock to the 1950s. They would love to see black and brown people under the yoke of white supremacy. I'm here to declare that these things are evil to the core. I call upon the consciousness and the courage of people of every ethnic group, every religious group, to stand up for what is right and just, to resist the demonic and power-hungry game that puts our very nation at peril and that threatens innocent souls everywhere with a hell right here on earth. We further oppose the disenfranchisement of formerly incarcerated folks. We know that the incarceration rate disproportionately impacts the black and brown community, disenfranchised folks, and we know a church and a community of justice and righteousness calls on local and national government to restore the citizenship rights of everyone, including the right to vote for U.S. citizens who have felony convictions. The Church of Justice and Righteousness deplores the widespread use of the lie, yes, the lie of election fraud as a ruse to disenfranchise people, to create a situation that impedes and hinders and damages the very idea of democracy. I want you to know, those of you who are standing here today as freedom fighters, I want you to know that we stand together as one so that we might pass laws that keep the will of the people in the objective, and those who want to see those things go by the wayside, we're here to tell them and to declare to them on this day that we're not going away. we're not giving up and we're not giving in. Campaign finance reform is a moral matter for the religious community. The temptation to buy favors is an ancient and unjust one, addressed often in the scriptures. The Hebrew Bible has 8th century prophet Amos thundering against those merchants in his society who, he says, have sold the innocent for silver. Those who have sold the innocent for silver. Those who have pushed away the afflicted. Amos said that God is not pleased with empty worship rituals, but pleased when justice would roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. And so therefore I declare, along with all of you freedom fighters and those who dare to practice this thing that we call justice, in order to expand voting rights, in order to change campaign finance laws, in order to reduce the influence of money in politics, in order to ban partisan gerrymandering, and in order to create new ethic rules for federal office holders, we demand the passage of For the People Act, and we demand it right now. And finally, I'm here to encourage you this way, to tell you that we know that we shall win. We shall overcome. We know and we are confident that we will win because good always wins over evil. So let's get it done. Let's pass the For the People Act. Let's get it done now, not later. Now is the time. Now. No justice, no peace.